You really inspired so many people because you were the face of that.
It's crazy to think about because it was so, like, right now, that run was like over 10 years ago, which is crazy. And it feels like such a different lifetime for me, if that makes sense.
You've done so much since.
It's just like so weird that sometimes I forget it, that it happened, or like that people cared that much about it, because it's just, so much time has gone by.
When Tony Hawk did the 900 for skateboarding, it was like groundbreaking. He did it live in front of the crowd. Did you practice that wall? Did you already know that you could do it at that point? Like, had you done it successfully?
So luckily at the gym that I was at in Texas, they had a warped wall. There was a place in California, Tempest, a free running place that like I had gone up a warped wall before, but you never actually know the exact dynamics of it. So like
the
each
arch?
wall, yeah, like it might be the same height, but like the angle of it and the run up and how like curved it is at the top, or how much the run up is. Like Ninja Warrior doesn't just like they wouldn't give you the specs of their obstacles, obviously, you know what I mean? So every single gym that I went to, like the wall was different, you know what I mean? So I knew that I had gotten up a wall that height before. But when I actually got there, like, we don't get to practice. We don't get to touch the obstacles. You know what I mean? So when I got there, I was like, okay, I have done a wall before.
Do you get a walkthrough? You get to just
No.
look? You don't? That's crazy.
Oh, to look at it, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes. We get to, we walk through and they tell us all the rules. So, like, we're walking next to the obstacle and basically they'll say to us, okay, you can't touch this, or you can't use your feet on this, or, like, you have to land here, and make sure so that people aren't just, mayhem, and then they're like, you can't do that and it wastes time, whatever. So we do get to do that.
But you don't get a dry run.
You don't get to touch the obstacles. You don't get to like, do anything. So when it happened, I remember standing there and being like, okay, I know I have gotten up a wall before, but it looks so tall. Like, standing there in that moment, it's like 3 times my height. You know what I mean? Like, it looks so tall. And also I had done like, 5 other obstacles right before that. So as I get up to it on my run, I remember being like, okay, you can do this, like, deep breath. You get 3 tries at it, only on the warped wall. So every other obstacle, if you fall in the water, you're out. When you get to the warped wall, because there's no like water to fall in, it's basically just like you get 3 attempts. And if you don't make it on the 3rd attempt, you're out. So I go up and I'm like, okay, take a deep breath. I'm tired from the other obstacles, like shake it out, whatever. I do my first run and I don't make it. And I'm like, okay, like everything's fine. I have other chances. And then when I go for my second run, I think to myself, like, I really don't want to not make this run and only have 1 left, because that's like way too much pressure. Like, too much pressure to only have 1 left. And then in my head, I'm like, okay, not making the first one is just the right, like, just enough suspense for people.
It builds
like,
it up a little
to build
bit.
it up, but I don't want to miss another one. Like, you know what I mean? So took a deep breath, turned, like, I think I turned around and like to not look at it and like took a deep breath to do it. And the second time I made it up, and it was like, it was so, I can't even like remember fully the feeling, because it feels like a dream. You know what I mean? And it was really exciting. And then actually the next night, you go right from that qualifying run. The next night you film the next round, basically, because they're in your city still. So the qualifying run is all the way up to the warped wall. And then the next level is you run that course again and have to make it through, and then you have to get through another like 5 obstacles after that. So it's longer. So then I had done it the first night and I made up the warp. I was like, okay, like I did it. Like, this has never been done. This is crazy. Then the next day I had to do it again and like make it up the wall again and then keep going. So then I was like, oh my gosh, I've already done this. Okay, can I do it again? Is it, so there was like kind of this extra layer of pressure. Like, okay, now that I've already done it, I can't not do it today. Like, you know what I mean? And also, the commentators, they're amazing. They want to, make it the most interesting. So as we're talking and, they're like, okay, like, was last night a fluke? Is she able to make it? And I'm like, okay, this is even more pressure than yesterday, actually. Like, if I had not made it the first time, they would have just been like, she got close. But if I made it and don't make it again, they're going to be like, oh yeah, it was a fluke, So now I'm like, even more pressure, like, okay, I have to make this.
It's crazy. So, you don't even get to enjoy, like, the celebration.
Literally. And so I was able to, make it up the wall the next night, which was good. But then I had like 5 more obstacles ahead of me. I got relaxed. I told them like I'm just like not gonna rush. I'm gonna take just to say that, but inside I was like freaking out. And just each one that I made, I was like, okay, the crowd was amazing. They were like super behind me. So that really helped. At one time I even was like, thanks, I love you guys, like to tell that, like, because it was really helpful to be like, okay, people are excited. I have to do this. They're watching me. They're cheering for me. They're here at 3 a.m. Like, we got to do this. And so I was able to complete the city finals course that night, which was really cool because it happened so fast where like no woman had completed the course up to the warped wall, and then I was able to complete that course, and then we did the city finals and I like completed the next course as well. So each obstacle that I did, they were like, no woman's ever ever attempted like the salmon ladder, and then like I did this. They're like, no one's ever attempted it, and she did it, and there were like these far jumps that like people in the crowd, the other ninjas watching, were like, she's not gonna make it, like she's not gonna be able to make that. And then like they would show it. It just, the way they edit it too, like to show everybody watching. The commentators did an incredible job. That like when you're watching it on TV back, it's so exciting to see. You know what I mean?
What does that do to your life that next day?
Well, so the hard part is it's not live on TV. So that happened, and then it didn't air for like months and months. You know what I mean? So
you're sitting with this thing.
Yeah, and I think there was actually like, it was kind of amazing because when it happened, I knew, the people there knew, and my like close people knew. And I thought it was the most exciting thing ever. But I didn't realize how much it would actually blow up after when it aired. Like, I thought, okay, some ninja people are going to be excited. They have like a good fan base. This is going to be cool for like us as the ninja community.
Like the group,
and fans.
Yeah.
And like fans, like diehard fans of ninja are going to think this is so cool. And that was enough for me. I was like, I just wanted to prove women could do this. I wasn't prepared that when it aired that like, so many people would care. People that didn't know American Ninja Warrior, and like, throughout it was a much bigger accomplishment than I thought, if that makes sense. And I thought it was huge, but I just thought like our little circle would care about it. I didn't know that like actually the world would care about it.